Good evening, everybody. For some people, this is the highlight of their week. So, probably mine. And so, welcome to the show. Welcome, Cam Bagrie.
Evening, Chief.
How are we?
No, good actually. Had a bloody
good man.
Nice weekend with the kids running around after sport. Cleaning up the garden, all those sort of things. Haven't had a shave. Wandering around in a t-shirt and a pair of shorts and a pair of jandals. That's what Kiwiana's all about.
Are you growing a goatee? Are you? That's what it looks like.
No, I got up this morning and I sort of had half a shave, got halfway through it, and said I can't be bothered taking the rest of it off, so I'll leave it on there for another 24 hours.
What about the rugby? I know you're a leaguey, but tell me you watched it.
Yeah, I watched it, right, and in all honesty, I feel pretty sorry for those players at the moment because, boy, she's a bit of a blood sport. Now, not in regard to on the field, but the articles that are coming out about the players and the coaches and that sort of stuff, my God, it's worse than politics. So you wouldn't want to be a player with a coach reading some of that sort of stuff, right? But yeah, it's I guess the way it sort of works. One week you're a hero, around the next week, you're at the other end of the sort of spectrum. But yeah, I just feel sorry for the players, right?
Well, everyone needs a good razor if they're going to be successful. That's my thought on that. They were. I'll tell you what. This is the thing. I saw the headlines from somewhere. I can't remember who it was. They came out, and the headline was, I don't know, something like pitiful performance as Pumas make history. And I thought, gee, surely we can do better than that. When we're a rugby nation and the Pumas played like that, yes, okay, the All Blacks didn't play well. But I just thought the Pumas' defence was incredible. This is that they had so many excuses on why they shouldn't have won. That COVID. They even had people on their team that had COVID. They had huge restrictions on where they could train. They hadn't beaten the All Blacks ever, and they still go out there and do that. I just thought it was bloody amazing. I really do. Thought it was fantastic.
A little bit of rugby league about it, to be honest. Yeah, when I was playing rugby league, so rugby league 101 from the coach was put the other buggers on their ass, right? And that's basically what the Pumas did to us.
Oh,
they just didn't miss a tackle, right? And if you're not getting over the game line, well, you're struggling. So pretty simple. They worked this out. Just knock us back. Don't miss a tackle, and they didn't miss a tackle.
I just thought they were absolutely brilliant. Anyway, we better stop talking about rugby, otherwise I'll get myself into trouble. Economic snapshot. How are we doing compared to the rest of the world? How do you think we're going?
Well, we're like a shining beacon compared to everything else I'm seeing internationally. Just about every economic indicator we're tracking at the moment is coming in above expectations. We've got the property market figures end of last week, and that market's hot to trot. Property prices are up in excess of 7% in the last 3 months. Who would have picked that? Most people were saying it would have had a negative in front of it. Well, we got the number right, just got the sign absolutely right. Job seeker numbers look like they're stabilising. Dwelling consent numbers come out last week. They were still holding up in excess of 3,000 per month. The government came out with their Crown financial statements, and we're still borrowing more money, but the numbers were still a couple of billion less worse than expected. Fletcher Building came out during the week, and they had some better numbers, although they were still pretty cautious towards the back end of 2021. So she's far from what I call great news, but generally speaking, everything is on the better side of the ledger than what anybody was expecting. So hat tip to the team of 5 million. The Reserve Bank, the government stepped up to the plate. They pushed an awful lot of money into the system. Far more than what I think anybody expected they would do. And to be fair, there'll be challenges managing that down the track. But that's tomorrow's problem. Today's problem is that we're looking an awful lot better than what we're expecting, and that's a nice one. In fact, it's not a problem. It's a real good situation to be in, particularly when I look at what's going on around the globe.
How about negative interest rates? I think we talked about that last week. Where are we sort of heading with that in property?
Yeah, well, the market's pared back that expectation. So if I look at where we were prior to the Reserve Bank's monetary policy statement, say this time last week, the market was still expecting, look, we're going to have negative rates at some stage by March, April, May, June next year. In fact, the market was pricing in greater expectations or a greater chance that New Zealand would have negative rates than the United States, Australia, and the United Kingdom. That just to me looked bananas when I looked at the economic prospects for the four. We were the shining light. So why on earth would we need lower interest rates? Now, the Reserve Bank stepped up last week. The economic story was marginally more upbeat or less downbeat. They're still concerned about 2021. But they launched this funding for lending program, which is about giving banks cheap money to access in the hope that lower funding costs, you get borrowing rates down on the other side. And the market's just interpreted that as, well, if you're doing this, there's probably less chance we're going to see negative interest rates. And I was never a big fan of negative interest rates in the first place. So, I welcome the market movement, although, thorn on the side is that you now got the New Zealand dollar up around 68 cents.
Yeah, so tell me about that. How does that affect us at that at 68 cents? Is that something to be concerned about?
Yeah, I guess if you think about the New Zealand dollar it's just a relative price. So when the currency's low, exporters win and importers lose. And when the currency's high, exporters don't do too well, but importers win because, of course, the cost of bringing stuff in is hellishly cheap. Around that sort of 65 cent mark, we're sort of in a no man's land where neither side is too grumbly, but neither side is decidedly happy. But it's sort of about fair. And you get up around 68 cents, it sort of skews things a little bit more towards the importers away from the exporters, but it's not something that you'd be jumping up and down about at the moment. We pushed through 70 cents, then you probably got a little bit of a different story. But what's interesting at the moment is that, look, New Zealand's economic success, if we can call that, because it probably doesn't feel too successful for a lot of companies out there, but a lot of firms are still doing tremendously well. Well, if you're more successful than anybody else, you're going to get your relative price valued up. And I guess if you look at the New Zealand dollar, it's just been a pretty simple relative price of New Zealand versus other countries around the globe. Well, we're relatively better. So the relative price, i.e. the New Zealand dollar, is going to be a little bit higher than what some sectors, such as the export sector, would probably find ideal.
And talking about some companies that are struggling, Juicy off to the receivers, is that right?
Yeah, so it got printed in the media in the past 24 hours. Bit of a sad story, but it looks like a deal's been done. The jobs have been protected, which is a great initiative. But that was a sector that was exposed to international tourism, and the key season for tourism is November, December, January, February, March, and what we know is that they're not turning up. So out of this good news we're seeing across the economy, or have been in the lagging data, it's just a little bit of a reminder that there's some sectors out there at the moment that are still feeling a fair bit of pain, and we've got this real diverse or dichotomy where there's some people it's sort of like life has gone back to normal, whereas for a lot of sectors out there at the moment, education, tourism, and a few others, Auckland CBD, it's certainly not normal.
Okay, let's wrap it up. A little bit of an update on where you see things in the US. I mean, gee, we've got the president of the free world who's didn't want to talk to anybody for 8 days, cramming in as much golf as he can, telling everybody basically that he's not going to leave. And then you've got COVID. I think there was 160,000 new cases yesterday, I think, something like that. It's at its peak anyway. Well, it's probably not at its peak. That's the scary thing. What's your view on all this?
I just saw the numbers that have come out for the latest 24 hours. It's up around 180,000. So it's growing in an exponential rate. If that rate keeps growing at the current rate, like it started in November, it's about 100,000 a day. Mid-November, it's up in excess of 180. By the end of November, at this run rate, we're going to be in excess of 300,000 a day. Now, to sort of put that in perspective, that's a little bit like New Zealand having somewhere between 2,000 to 3,000 cases a day. Look, imagine if we had 2,000 to 3,000 cases a day. The whole hospital system would be absolutely stuffed in regard to getting overloaded. So it's America at the moment. It's got some massive problems in regard to containing this thing. But the hope is that the vaccine's going to be around the corner. But I'm not a health expert, but I'll tell you what, the economic incentive is to get something out there and get something out there pretty damn quick, even if it's not truly effective, and sort of suffer the consequences down the track. But the COVID cases stuff itself is just looking, it's an absolute disaster in regard to what's going on. It's stepping back and looking at the political situation in America. I think America is just a big hotbed for people starting to push back. You're heading into this election. If you look at what's gone on for the past sort of 40 to 50 years in America, what's called Labor's share of GDP, the share of growth that's gone to the workers has been steadily declining. Corporates, businesses have got more of the economic pie. Now, I think what's going on is this, there's the gap between the haves and the have-nots and opportunities and these sort of things, Black Lives Matter. But I sit there and just look at this through a pretty simple lens. When corporates do exceptionally well, too much at the expense of the workers, eventually people start to push back. And I think that's what we're seeing in America. And what we're now starting to see is that, the guy that's sort of leaving, there's marches now coming through America in regard to people turning up, and you sit there and you wonder about what's going to be the end game here. And I don't know, but I'll tell you what, I don't think things is going to settle down anytime soon. So what does it mean for New Zealand? Do we look hellishly good?
Yeah, we do. Any closing thoughts before I let you get your week underway?
No, look, you celebrate a little bit of success in regard to what's going on here in New Zealand, but I still suspect she's a bit of a long road ahead. When you're seeing America printing 180,000 COVID cases overnight, you sit there and think about, can we really keep this thing out? Touch wood, we're out there having a happy Christmas.
Good on you, Cam. You're a legend. You have a great week.
Take care, mate.
Go on, my friend. Thank you. Bye. The great Cam Bagrie. He's a great man. He really is. If you want to book Cam Bagrie, you can, of course, through Essential Talent. And what he does is he will customize a presentation for you on what is happening in your industry, what is happening in your region, and it's really, really useful. It's and you can plan it out for the next 12 months, 2 or 3 different visits throughout the year. So get in touch with me at Essential Talent if you want to book Cam Bagrie. But in closing, I just wanted to comment on this bloody rugby team, the Pumas. I actually got on last night and did a little post, and then I thought, no, he's going to bloody want to watch that straight after a test match. But I've been working on some stuff built around courage, about having courage, having a culture of courage, and I think we need to remind ourselves what this team went through, the Pumas. And I know that the All Blacks played like shit and all that, but let's just put their performance to one side. Let's just think about the Pumas. So how many excuses did they have up their sleeve on why they wouldn't be able to win last night? No international rugby for 13 months. Training in terrible conditions. Training in hotel rooms. lack of resources, pressure at home, their country in turmoil, playing the second best rugby team in the world that has just come off a loss. I think the last time the All Blacks lost 2 games in a row was 2011. It might even been before that. So they don't normally lose 2 in a row. So how many excuses did they have up their sleeve to lose? To sort of go, come on guys, let's go out there, let's give it the best, see how we go. But they didn't. They went out there, they were courageous. And you can argue that the All Blacks played crap. Okay, fine. But they didn't miss a tackle, for God's sake. They missed 1 tackle at the end of the game. They were courageous. They put all the excuses to one side and said, okay, yeah, that's the world we've been living in, but there's no reason why we can't go out and win. And you can bring this back to business, and this isn't me just coming up with something airy-fairy. This is actual science. That what happens in business is that when we aren't performing at the level that we want to, we go for those, we look for all their reasons why it won't be working, why we're not getting that result that we want. And it's just a defense mechanism. This is science. This is what actually happens. We all do it. We go, oh well, you know, of course I didn't get budget because look what's happening out there. There's this and that and this and that. Well, why didn't you get budget? There are many successful businesses out there. There are lots of opportunities out there. There are people that are doing their job really badly, and there's an opportunity for you to do it really well and actually make more sales. So, and I'm not begrudging anyone or having a go at anybody that is going through a hard time, because actually in my business, November has been bloody challenging. But I just think that it's a reminder. It's a reminder of, and their performance was a really timely reminder for me that put all the reasons that you can't succeed to one side and get out there and show a bit of bloody courage and go for it. Have a great week. Have a fun week. It's going to be awesome. Talk to you soon. Bye.